I am Ferdinand Marcos, and I am the President of the Republic of the Philippines. I stand today on behalf of 110 million Filipinos.
Hi everyone, it's me again. So mga bes, ito po ang press conference ng Quadcom at ang House Committee ng Good Governance tungkol po kay doon sa issue ni Sara Duterte at itong issue ng dating Pangulong Digong, no? Alam nyo, isa lang na, ako naman, ang komento ko lang din naman dyan is dapat harapin nila, no? Kung wala naman silang tinatago, why not face it, di ba? Para masagot ng tama at matapos ang problema. Kay dating Pangulong Digong naman, napaka mautak din naman talaga nila kasi kung kailan kinansila ng Quadcom ang kanilang 11 hearing, supposed to be tomorrow, November 13. Kaso lang kinansel po nila nung Lunes pa. Ngayon, saka naman sinasabi ng kampo ni dating Digong, mag-a-attend daw sila ng hearing. Di ba, mga kababayan, parang sinasadya nila, kung kailang kinansel, saka naman sabihin, a-attend sila sa Quadcom. Sabi ng mga Quadcom committee natin. O, di ba? Style nila bulok talaga O, tapos ngayon palabasin takot ang Quadcom. Ganun yung mga palabas ng mga dilis sa social media, lalo ni mga vloggers, binabaliktad nila ng issue. Kaya sa ating mga kababayan, mag-ingat kayo sa mga pinapanood nyo sa mga side ni Digong. Ay, ang galing nila magpakalat ng fake news, no? Ang dapat nyong subaybayin kung ano po ang katotohanan, doon po kayo maniniwala. Sa mga pro-government na content creators, sila po ang nagsasabi ng katotohanan. Dahil mga yan, talaga ng mga sagad-sagaran ang kanilang pagre-research at ang kanilang mga pag-usisa sa mga issue, no? Well, guys, I'm including myself actually. So, yun mga kababayan, panoorin nyo ang fully conversation or conference ng ating mga Quadcom at ang House Committee and Good Governance tungkol sa issue ni Sara Duterte. So yun guys, maraming salamat sa inyong watching. See you again on my next upload video. Bye 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 and babush. God bless Philippines. Eto na.
First question, let us recognize Haji Camino from Brigada News.
Sige po. Good morning po mga kongs. For my first question, siguro yung kahapon po muna. Kasi sa press conference po ni VP Sara, sabi po niya ay politically motivated daw po yung naging hearing ng Good Government and Public Accountability yesterday. So your thoughts on this po na politically motivated daw po and wala naman daw pong wrongdoings ang OVP. Thank you po.
Thank you. This is not about politics. This is about accountability and transparency. Kung wala naman po talagang wrongdoings, bakit po hindi po sila dumating at bakit hindi na lang po nila sagutin ng issue? Dahil ang nakikita po namin dito, ang pinapupunta po nila yung mga career officials na sa tingin po namin, hindi naman po sila ang talagang concern. Yung mga talaga pong mga officials na directly involved dito, parang pilit po nilang hindi pinararating. Parang nagkakaroon po ng cover up dito po sa issue na to. Thank you.
Okay, I think the easiest gateway, as always, is politically motivated. Ano na yan basang-basa na yung ganyang justification. And ako naniniwala ako that we are living in this world na talagang merong politika ang lahat ng bagay. I always saying that yung dito sa gobyerno, there will always be politics. Hindi naman pwedeng walang politika And even in the different field natin, maraming politika. Even sa media, meron tayong politics involved, di ba? Kaya yung politically motivated, I think we need to change the narrative na politically motivated to. Alam na natin yan kasi nasa government tayo And we are elected people, and we are all politicians. Kaya ang tingin ko, yung sinasabi na politically motivated, granted na po yan. Kasama na po sa equation yan. So I hope that we will be stopped using the word politically motivated.
Actually, yung Blue Ribbon Committee, gusto lang makita kung ano yung totoo at yung katotohanan kung paano ginasta ng opisina ng Vice President, ng Office of the Vice President, yung kanyang confidential fund, at saka kung paano ginastos ng Department of Education sa pangunguna ni VP Sara, yung kanyang confidential fund din. At sa totoo lang, nalulungkot ang committee dahil kung sino yung mga taong involved, katulad ni Acosta at saka yung kanyang Chief of Staff, hindi pinapapunta ni Vice President Sara dahil sila naman talaga yung may responsibility regarding dun sa confidential fund dahil siya yung disbursing officer. At sana wag niya nang pagtakpan kasi nga tama naman si Chairman Joel na parang nagkakaroon ng cover up kung sino yung mga taong wala namang kinalaman, yun yung pinapapunta nila. Samantalang yung mga taong may responsibility regarding dun sa kung paano ginastos yung pera ng ating pamahalaan, yun yung hindi niya pinapapunta. Plus yung sinasabi niya na hindi daw totoo yung mga resibo na ipinakita sa committee, galing mismo sa ano yun galing mismo sa Commission on Audit yun, Commission on Audit yung nagbigay sa committee, kaya hindi po pwedeng sabihin ni VP Sara na peke yun. Katulad ni Mary Grace Piatos, sila ang naglagay ng pangalan doon. Alam naman natin na hindi totoo yun. Gawa-gawa na lamang nila yon. So, kailangan harapin nila yung responsibilidad sa kung ano yung ginawa nila at kung paano nila niliquidate yung paggamit ng kanilang confidential fund. Siguro, hindi nila akalain na i-scrutinize masyado yung kanilang pag-liquidate, kaya ganun na lang yung ginawa nila. Tandaan natin, pera yan ng gobyerno, pera yan ng mamamayan, kailangan merong transparency at kailangan may accountability. And VP Sara should be accountable kung ano yung ginawa nila sa Office of the Vice President patungkol sa confidential fund at saka bilang Secretary ng Department of Education sa confidential fund ng DepEd.
To add lang po siguro, on the first part of the question, yung politically motivated, I think our colleagues mentioned it already pretty well. Kung maalala po natin, we've already wanted to discuss yung CIF funds nung sa budget appropriation hearings pa lang. At that time, sinabi na po nila, politically motivated, not the right venue. Ngayon na merong committee with the proper jurisdiction, sasabihin na politically motivated na naman, baka not the proper venue, hindi raw in aid of legislation. So when would be the right time to talk about the misuse of confidential intelligence funds?
Tama.
I don't think it would be fair to demean the committee by saying po na politically motivated po ito. It takes away the truth of the matter na ang hinahanap po natin ay transparency and accountability. Now with that said po na on the second question, wala pong wrongdoing yung OVP. Evidence would suggest otherwise. I think this is not to prejudge the case, but despite the Vice President refusing to take her oath, despite the refusal to appear on behalf of some OVP officials, despite the refusal to cooperate, lumalabas pa rin po yung katotohanan. Through documentary evidence and through testimony of other witnesses, nakikita po natin parang to the extent of the compartmentalization, ng utilization ng CIF, nakita po natin the way that the office has operated. And to say that there's no wrongdoing, I'm not sure. I could be mistaken, but in the history of our republic, I don't think the COA has ever flagged yet a national agency for misuse of confidential and intelligence funds.
Correct.
This would be the first time. The mere fact na may red flag, yun po yung naging cause ng committee hearing na to. So it begs the question, yung nakikita natin ngayon sa mga witnesses, sa resource persons, sa documentary evidence, is there a modus operandi being conducted within the office? Yun po yung gusto namin malaman at parang yun po yung nakikita natin. And we still hope we extend that invitation. Sana po mag-attend yung mga invited resource persons at mag-cooperate for the sake na po na maging transparent na po sila. Yun lang po.
Tama.
Ako naman, susugan ko lang yung sinabi ni Kong Rog, na ang mandato ho ng committee ito ay i-determine yung accountability ng public officers. In fact, it is very clear in the rules, na kung merong malfeasance, misfeasance, and non-feasance committed by any public official, then it is the mandate and it is the duty of this committee to initiate investigation. Now, we're not saying guilty ang mga taong naimbestigahan dito. Kaya nga kailangan makita kung ano ba yung mga dokumento that will prove otherwise, no? That there was no malfeasance, misfeasance, or non-feasance. But kung hindi ho natin tutumbok, no, yung usapin tungkol dyan sa mga na-commit na mga yan, then it will leave a big question mark on the minds and on the thoughts of our Filipino people. Kaya nga kailangan sana matapos natin ito, mabigyan natin to ng closure. Nang sa ganon ay kung meron man na mga public officers that will be held accountable, then meron po tayong mga batas tungkol dyan.
Follow-up lang po, one follow-up lang. Sabi po ni VP, yung ibang officials ng OVP, busy raw po na mag-prepare sa anniversary ng OVP. And if I'm not mistaken, parang this week po yata yung anniversary ng Office of the Vice President. And do you think na dahil yung mga ihinarap kahapon sa pagdinig yung mga career officials, meron po bang parang pag-shield dun daw sa mga close-in aides ng Vice President? Thank you po.
Kagaya nga po ng binanggit namin kanina, actually hindi naman po ito yung first time na sila ay maimbitahan. This is actually the 5th committee hearing. From day 1, hindi na po sila umattend at never na po silang nakipag-cooperate sa amin. At kung amin pong titignan, parang nga pong itong cover-up. Parang nagkakaroon po ng cover-up dito at talaga naman yung mga directly involved dito po sa isyung to, sa confidential fund, ay talagang hindi nila pinapupunta. In fact, during the committee hearing, tinanong po yung isang career, si Attorney Sanchez, at sinabi nga po niya, ang nakakaalam lamang po netong confidential fund sa OVP ay yung disbursing officer, si Gina Acosta, yung chief of staff, si Attorney Zulaika Lopez, at si VP mismo, si VP Sara Duterte.
Actually, si VP Sara is shielding her inner circle, no, sa accountability. Kaya kung makikita natin, merong selective participation, kung sino lang yung gusto nilang ipadala at walang direktang kinalaman dun sa liquidation ng fund, yun yung pinapadala niya. So, kailangan nating makita kung ano yung nangyari at malaman natin kung ano yung katotohanan regarding sa confidential fund, kung paano ito ginagastos, no? Dahil kailangan din natin ng karagdagang batas para maprotektahan yung pera ng mamamayan.
Okay. I think the father and daughter have the same kind of personality, shielding their own people. Why? Si BP Sara, nakita natin how she protected yung mga tao niya by not letting them to attend the hearing. Dito naman si former president, sinasabi niya, me alone, it's all me, ang responsible dun sa war on drugs. But kahapon lamang nagsalita na po si PNP chief at sinabi niya that 1,286 na mga affected ng war on drugs died and others were wounded, and yung iba naman po ay 219 cops were I think charged criminally, and marami po yung na-charge, almost 200 plus as well, and na-dismiss pala, meron po na-dismiss, 200 plus, and yung iba facing summary dismissal as well. So I think yung pronouncement ng presidente that siya po ang sasagot sa lahat ng problem ng mga lower ranks sa ating pong kapulisan, para atang hindi po nangyayari. And this is the same trait and behavior that are not now being manifested on her daughter. So nakikita po natin yung pattern. Yan lang po.
In addition po sa sinabi ni Chairman Dan, kung may Davao model sa EJK, may Davao model din sa paggastos ng confidential fund. Nakikita natin yung pattern ng mag-ama, nakikita natin yung pattern na kanilang ginagawa patungkol sa extrajudicial killing at saka kung paano nila ginagastos yung confidential fund. Tandaan natin, na ang Davao may pinakamalaking confidential fund yan sa lahat ng city sa buong bansa, no? So kung paano nila ginastos yung confidential fund ng DepEd at saka ng Office of the Vice President, binabase din nila sa Davao model.
In addition lang po, no, on the first point, yung the reason for their absence, I think nabanggit naman ni Chairman Chua na this is not the first hearing, we're already in our 4th or 5th po ba, and yet they did not attend. I don't think for all those hearings it would account for yung preparation for the OVP anniversary. With that said, in addition, even if ito lang po yung, if this is the only hearing that they're made to attend, I don't think equal naman po importance ng anniversary. Every year naman po yun, no? Yung anniversary as compared to a committee in which under fire po yung integrity and accountability ng isang opisina, the second highest official in the land. So for them to choose OVP preparations, which one could be done by other staff, I suppose, and two happens every year, versus answering questions po sa committee, I think mas importante naman po yung committee. So I think sa reasoning pa on that alone, parang nakakaduda na rin po talaga yung same time po nawawala yung mga key persons. With that said, on the second question po, yung whether there is cover-up of sorts. I think, like I mentioned earlier, ang nakikita po natin in the hearings that we've conducted so far, sobrang compartmentalized po yung OVP in relation to the CIF. And it would appear, based on the records, nakita po natin yung statements ng dalawang resource persons that attended were notarized by an official of the OVP. You couldn't help but think na baka coordinated po yung statements na ito. Kumbaga, sila po yung pina-attend just to assuage or to satisfy the committee na may resource persons. Pero yung pinadala naman, walang kinalaman about sa CIF. Ang alam lang po nila is the issuance of yung cheque, which is not the question at hand. Our question is, paano po ginastos yung confidential funds? So with that compartmentalization, nakita po natin, it seems to be po, they're protecting those that have actual knowledge of the fact. And yun po yung kailangan po natin sa committee.
Thank you, Haji. We'd like to recognize Tina Panganiban Perez from GMA7 for her questions.
Good morning po, sirs. On the Quadcom hearing, bakit po canceled yung pagdinig bukas, and when was the decision to cancel arrived at?
Thank you for that question, Tina. The Quadcom chairs are already contemplating since last week to move the scheduled Wednesday Quadcom hearing, no, for several reasons. First reason, yung aming mga if you recall, no, lagi namin sinasabi kapag may mga witnesses, we want them to execute affidavits. Number two, even if they have executed their affidavits, we will have to vet them, no. Meron pong legal team ina-assist ang Quadcom to interview yung aming mga because marami po ang gustong magsalita. Marami po ang gustong magbigay ng testimonya. Ang aming pong palagay, kailangan aralin namin, no, kung sino ho yung aming iharap dun sa usapin ng EJK, dun sa usapin ng drugs, at syempre dun din sa usapin ng Pogo. Now, because of the several witnesses who wanted to give their testimony before the Quadcom, we decided that we should maybe interview them all first. Tingnan namin, sino ba yung mas credible doon? And it will take a lot of time, no, para sa amin. So, we decided that before we set this meeting, again, no, kailangan kumpirmado na kung sino yung ating ihaharap. Sino yung mga witnesses na pwedeng magbigay ng kanilang salaysay na ika nga ay may credibility. Kasi gaya nung sinasabi ko sa inyo noon, marami yung gustong tumistigo. In fact, umabot pa kami sa punto na yung isang gustong tumistigo, pagkatapos siya magbigay ng kanyang affidavit, ay umabot kami sa punto na kailangan pa naming ipasuri siya sa psychiatrist, no? Ipasuri siya through a polygraph test sa Camp Crame, no? Para malaman namin kung ito ba'y nagsasabi ng totoo. Hindi ho madali, no, magpresenta ng witnesses. Kaya napag-usapan nga namin, kagaya ho kahapon ng hapon, na-decide na ho namin na i-cancel yung aming meeting supposedly for tomorrow, ngayong Wednesday, November 13, to give us more time hanggang next Thursday to interview, to set up our agenda, at tapusin po lahat ng pwede naming ma-interview. That is the reason why we had to cancel.
Actually, 2 days ago, nag-decide na kami dyan eh. A week ago pa, pinag-uusapan na natin, Chairman. And then suddenly, kahapon parang last night, para nakakita tayo na attend na raw sila. And ang problem natin dyan, we have already notified yung mga resource persons, especially yung mga galing sa Cebu, yung mga victims. And at the same time, meron po kami binibet na galing sa Isabela and I think one also from the north. And suddenly, naka-receive tayo ng mga ganong pronouncement that he will be attending. But of course, hindi pa naman po yun official na galing po sa former president that he will be attending on tomorrow's hearing. Unless and until that we have received any copy from him, then most likely. But it's hard to na makapag-ano na po tayo tomorrow because yung pronouncement and the invitation to other resource persons were already been cancelled.
Dagdagan ko lang yung sinabi ni Kong Dan, no? Kahapon pa na-cancel na namin yung aming hearing eh. At 6:30 p.m., the Quadcom chairs have already informed the Secretariat to send out notices to all our members and to all our invited resource persons na hindi po hindi po natin matutuloy yung ating hearing ngayong Wednesday, no? At all these notices via email, via digital and Viber notices, pinadala na ho yan kahapon pa lang. And wala ho kaming wala ho kaming confirmation pa kung sino yung a-attend eh. Wala naman ho nagsabi sa amin na may a-attend na sa Wednesday because as early as yesterday, we have already sent out cancellation notices. Kaya wala namang nagulat lang kami ngayon na meron palang gustong umattend, no? Welcome naman po yan sa atin. Kaya lang, na-cancel na po natin. And just to let everybody know that we have already postponed it for November 21st, Thursday next week. So lahat po ng inimbitahan namin na kinancel namin, ay iimbitahan ho namin ulit. Nang sa ganoon, mahaba-haba ho yung inyong preparasyon, mahaba-haba inyong oras para maka-attend dito sa aming Quadcom hearing sa next week.
Mr. Chairman, baka iniisip ko rin during the time that we have discussed that on Sunday, I think we finalized on Sunday. Baka may mga chairman na mole doon sa pag-uusap natin. Just kidding. Pero we already decided last Sunday pa po at pinormalize lang po namin yan kahapon, and that's the reason why we already have a meeting yesterday. Unfortunately, may mga gantong issue na darating daw po, and I think it's hard for us to really send invitation again to those who have been cancelled resource persons.
And kung wala naman talagang kung wala naman talagang direct statement ang ating former president na darating siya, tingin namin propaganda lang yung lumalabas ngayon sa internet, no, sa social media na darating siya. Kasi gusto rin naming dumating siya dahil pinagbantaan nga niya yung mga congressmen na sinasabi niya sisipain daw niya, wala namang virtual kick. 'Di ba? So mas maganda sana dumating siya dahil willing naman si Chairman Dan na magpasipa sa former president.
Virtual kick.
Tsaka napakahirap naman po kung na-cancel ng isang committee hearing. Para mag-imbita ka na naman, you need at least 3-day notice sa mga i-invite ninyo. So, masyado na pong short yung ilang oras. In fact, yung mga naging reason kung bakit po kami nag-issue ng subpoena for the second time, na-reissue po namin because we are following our rules dito po sa House.
Sir, yung si Attorney Panelo kasi yung isa sa mga nag-confirm na pupunta raw po si former president. Tapos, with the cancellation of the hearing, may mga posts po kasi online saying na baka naduwag daw yung Quadcom.
Alam mo, unang-una, hindi naman si Attorney Panelo inimbitahan namin. Di ba? It was the former president ng aming inimbitahan. And we were informed that the lawyer or the counsel of the former president, where we also received letters from the law office of Attorney Delgra. Yun lang ho hinihintay namin na information. So kung social media, wala akong pupunta. Kung nagtatawag kayo ng mga vloggers, Parang disrespect yan sa atin dito sa sistema ng ating imbitasyon. Do not invite in the social media. Kung gusto nyo, sumagot kayo, sulatan nyo kami. Diba? Sulatan nyo kami kung kayo ay pupunta. Hindi yung sa social media kayo magsasalita. Of course, we appreciate the fact that pupunta ang ating dating Pangulo dahil yun naman po ang request ng ating mga kasamahan sa Quadcom, no? Na magkaroon ng talakayan, magkaroon ng palitan ng idea tungkol dito sa usapin sa EJK at usapin sa drugs, no? Na kung saan ay centerpiece ng kampanya ng ating dating administrasyon. Kaya nga gusto sana nating marinig mismo mula sa ating dating Pangulo kung ano yung mga kasagutan na kanyang ibibigay dun sa mga tanong na pinaghandaan ng ating mga Quadcom members. So, wag po nating I noticed also that there are several comments from the vloggers of I don't know which camp is that, no? Saying na wala pong naduduwag dito. Ganito ho, para ho malinaw. Sa 21 meron kaming hearing. Yan ho, punta ho tayo dito. Pagkatapos ng 21, let us know kung kailan kayo pwede. Because we will schedule another Quadcom hearing on the date convenient for you, on the date na gusto ninyo, para ho mailatag natin ng maayos ang ating imbitasyon.
And reminder also as well, Mr. Chairman, as what Chairman Chu mentioned a while ago, that there is a 3-day ruling that are being followed by the committee. So kailangan po ma-inform din po kami officially. Wag po sana sa social media para at least lahat. Kasi pag social media, you can always deny it, di ba? Pwede kang hindi pumunta, tapos sabihin, hindi naman formal yon. But of course, kapag ginawa po nating official ang lahat, then resibo po yan. So I hope that prior to November 21 hearing, somebody or the lawyer of the former president will write the committee for his attendance. Maraming salamat po.
Sir, clarification lang. At this point in time, walang natatanggap na kahit written or digital communication from the camp of former President Duterte na dadalos sana dapat sila bukas?
Wala po kami natatanggap hanggang sa ngayon. Ang nakikita lang namin yung mga vloggers. So, hindi ho namin pinakikinggan yung mga vloggers kasi wala naman nung sinabing tama yan kundi tirahin lang itong si Dan Fernandez kaya yun ho ang aming we wrote to them inviting them. Then we also gave them a notice of cancellation via email, via Viber text messages, and all other forms of communication. Yun lang ho ang iniintay namin. Kung meron hong letter sa amin, wala ho kami natatanggap. At dahil nga po, nung Monday pa, bago po sinabing pupunta si former president sa hearing, sinabi ho yun, na-cancel na namin Di ba? Na-cancel na ho. Bigla hong nasabing pupunta. Hindi naman ho ganun ang proseso. Di ba? Ang proseso, may imbitasyon kami at hinihintay namin yung reply. But even prior to the reply to our invitation, ay na-cancel na po namin. Kasi nga po, sa nabanggit kong rason kanina kung bakit po namin kinancel.
Thank you, sirs.
Thank you. Next questions from Marian Enriquez of TV5. Okay, Bibian Gulia from ABS-CBN.
Actually, yung clarification ko yun lang din, sir. So, bali, 2 letters lang po yung na-receive ng Quadcom from the camp of the former president. The first one was yung before the November 1st, and the second one was declining the invitation. Wala na pong ibang communication na na-receive po.
Hindi, ganito po yan. Since the start of the Quadcom hearings, invitation has already been extended to the former president and the 2 senators, incumbent senators. But there was no reply. Then we had subsequent committee hearings of the Quad. There was no reply whether they will attend or not. Now, there was a press statement issued by the former president that he said wala siya natatanggap na invitation. That's why we had to send again another invitation for our October 22 committee Quadcom hearing At the following day, we already received a letter coming from his lawyer, si Atty. Delgra, saying that he needs to rest, the former president needs to rest, he has a lot of engagements, has been tired, and because we understood that the former president is already old, and we would like to give him the time to rest, so we accepted the cancellation. Then we sent again another letter, supposedly for the October, November 28th. November 7 hearing. Then we received again another letter. Sinasabi na hindi siya pupunta because walang integridad ang Quadcom at na-prejudge na siya ni Congressman Dan Fernandez tsaka ni Kong Benny Abante. At saka mahaba pa yung rason. So we accepted again the refusal to attend. Now we're supposed to have a November 13 hearing, but we decided to cancel it yesterday. Ngayon sasabihin na pupunta. Ano ba talaga, kuya? Di ba? So ito formally sent po yung letter, ang invitation. Of course, we appreciate the fact that the former president is now interested to attend, no? Malaki pong yan, dahil malaki pong maitutulong niyan sa Quadcom.
Tama.
Talagang, in other words, no, talagang propaganda lang, no, yung ginagawa nila, lalong-lalo na yung sinasabi nilang pag-attend sa committee hearing ng Quadcom, no. Talagang nabubudol-budol nga, no, yung ating mga mamamayan regarding sa kung ano yung kanilang mga sinasabing statement.
Thank you. Before we continue our press conference, I'd like to acknowledge the arrival of House Committee on Human Rights Chairman, Manila Representative Bienvenido Benny Abante Jr. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Dapat kasi yan, kung ayaw niyang
Vivian,
dumalo, di sabihin niya na lang ng totoo, hindi yung pasikot-sikot pa eh.
May call on Lenesca Panti from GMA News Online.
Good morning po. Sir, yung kay former President Duterte also, he said that he had nothing more to say, to add, given his testimony in the Senate, the drug war probe. And he also said na wala na daw siyang pera para pamasahe.
Maliwala kayo dyan.
Papamasahehan niyo daw ba siya? That's how he said it.
Bilyonaryo yan, paano
wala
walang
daw siyang
pera?
pamasahe. So how do you respond to this? Na he has nothing to add more to what he said in the Senate. So do you agree with that? And yung second na wala daw siyang pamasahe papunta dito.
Well, in fact, that was stated in the letter of Attorney Delgra. No? Sabi niya, he has nothing more to add. No, dun sa Quadcom, sinabi na daw niya lahat ng na gusto niyang sabihin sa and of course we took note of that, no. Pero nga mas maganda nga sana na sa kagustuhan ng mga mayorya ng membro ng Quadcom na makaharap at matanong direkta ang ating Pangulo, dating Pangulo. So I think if the President would welcome that, we will appreciate, no, kapag siya nag-attend. Yun nga lang po, nagkaroon lamang po ng cancellation ngayong Wednesday because of the reasons I stated earlier at hindi dahil sa sinasabi ng mga vlogger. Wala hong hindi ho namin pinakikinggan yan. Nababasa-basa lang po natin yan. Kung sa mga pamasahe naman, nag-usap-usap ang mga chairman, ang pinakamalaking ambag ay si Congressman Dan at gusto lamang malaman kung ilan sila, no, so that we can also accommodate at ma-arrange din po yung mga accommodation.
And at the same time siguro we have to make it formal, no? I-formalize natin lahat kasi nga pag yung sa social media tayo nagsagutan, I think it will not be proper, no? At maliligaw po tayo, especially yan, nagpo-pronounce sila that they will be attending, and it's not even coming from the president, di ba? So we are governed by the rule of law and we are governed by the rules of the committee, and I hope that kung talagang a-attend po ang presidente, now is the right time to notify the committee, especially November 21 pa naman yan, malayo pa, Thursday pa. So we have all the time, no, para i-prepare. Ang problem talaga, alam nyo, mahirap din naman po yung bukas maghihiring na po kami. edi somebody will accuse us that we are, kumbaga, binibreak namin yung own rules namin of the 3-day notice. Kaya, sana po, no, ibalik na po natin yung tamang proseso para nang sa ganon na we will be guided accordingly.
Chairman Abante.
Just ano lang sir, to add, yung sinabi niyang wala siyang pamasahe, it was a press conference. It was not a social, hindi siya galing sa vlogger. He had a press conference and he said na yun nga, wala daw siyang pamasahe.
Well, nasagot na po ni Chairman Ace Barberson tungkol dito. So, we're willing to chip in kung talagang kinakailangan. No? If really the President wants to come. Hindi namin siya pipilitin, no, according to his condition, health condition, o mental condition. Kami naman we would like the people to know that we have high respect for the former president, and we really want to hear his side of the issue. Kahit na po marami siyang nasabi sa Senado, it's up to him actually. It's up to him. Hindi naman niya sinabi personally na pupunta siya. It was actually his lawyers who said it. So, it's up to him. If you'd like to come, very much welcome po siya.
Just like to add lang po, no, the first point. Kasi po, our only basis is yung letter ni Attorney Delga. I don't know yet the sentiments of the former president. But when the committee invites resource persons, it's not only for them to have any unilateral pronouncements, but we also have questions. So pag sinasabi po nila they have nothing more to say, I think kami po sa committee ay marami pong katanungan. So we hope that they do reconsider. When he appeared before the Senate and he made those pronouncements, I think it left more questions than answers. So on the topic lang po, no, na sinasabi na they have nothing more to say, I hope that they could reconsider, take the invitation, and then answer the questions of our members.
Thank you, Lenesca. Gab Lalu from Inquirer Online, please proceed with your questions.
Sir, just a quick follow-up. Kasi na-mention po yung advanced age ni former President Duterte. Pero if I recall, in one of the hearings before the Quad Committee was formed, parang pumunta po si former Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile, di ba? To explain dun sa CESA. May ganun din po. Parang kumbaga kung nakapunta po si former Senate President Enrile, bakit hindi makakapunta si...
Well, actually, yung sa Committee on Public Order and Safety, when we started the investigation on the POGO, it was initially referred to my committee, and we invited the former Senate President, si Juan Ponce Enrile, and with all due respect with him, talagang siya po ang inuna namin because of his old age. And lahat na po ng mga questions that wanted to be asked about dun sa I think executive order number I forgot, 53 ata o 54 about sa POGO ay tinanong na po kay former Senate President, and after which ay pinayagan na po namin na makauwi po si Juan Ponce Enrile, and we hope that sana ganun nga din po ang gawin, no, kasi naman lahat naman po ng members dito, no, we just have to establish lang po dun sa hearing that kailangan po talagang ano po natin yung proper decorum, no, at sana walang uttering of bad words, no, para at least yung respect, bigat sa di ba, respect din at siguro kung gano'n ang magiging tema ng ating pong hearing on November 21, magiging maayos din po katulad nung kay Senate Juan Ponce Enrile. And we hope that we will have a proper and dignified hearing on November 21 with the presence of the former President.
Para lang malinaw, yung aming decision to cancel the hearing ay kahapon po yon, Lunes, no? Lunes, dahil po ang susunod na hearing ay sa Miyerkules. Pero last week pa ho, napapag-usapan namin yun dahil nga tuloy-tuloy yung aming vetting sa aming mga witnesses. So we decided na mukhang kukulangin tayo sa oras at sa araw para matapos natin yung interview namin dun sa mga gustong magtestigo. So we decided yesterday ng hapon na i-cancel na ito. And immediately, the Secretariat sent notices to all the resource persons, to all the invited guests, and ating pong mga members. No? Wala hong confirmation na may pupunta si dating Pangulong Duterte. Wala hong ganong information. In fact, nalaman lamang namin na pupunta siya, no, dahil nga marami daw kumakalat sa social media. But we already canceled. We sent out notices of cancellation kahapon pa ho. So ang confirmation nila came after we already canceled. So sa susunod, huwag nyo na i-cancel. November 21 po ang aming next invitation. And if you wish to attend, we will appreciate. If you do not, then please let us know ahead of time.
Sir, just another follow-up. Usually po ba gaano katagal yung response time ng mga resource persons? For example, if you sent out the invitation last, kunyari, Monday, how long do resource persons reply?
Depende sa ano. Yung iba, immediately, they reply, no? Meron na kaagad mga receipt, no? Yung mga notices, no? Meaning, they acknowledge that they already received the cancellation notice. Yung iba naman, it takes a while, no? Minsan, 2 hours, 3 hours. Minsan nga, hanggang kagabi, meron pa nagpadala ng notice at 10:35 p.m. Formal notice of cancellation was sent to Attorney Delgra at 9:23 p.m. And an email also was sent to him at 10:35 p.m. So, sumagot lang siya this morning at 7:14 a.m. this morning. So, you know, we already advised him, but basta ang aming objective ay ma-advise sila prior to the date, the scheduled date of the committee hearing so that hindi na rin po sila maabala. Wala, it was just a acknowledgement receipt of the cancellation. Yun lang ang ano. So meaning, they knew already na canceled na yun kagabi pa, no? Because it was already sent eh. So, yun ang ano eh, yun ang ngayon lang namin nalaman na meron palang interest to attend ang ating dating Pangulo sa Wednesday where we have already canceled nung Monday.
Okay ka na, Gab? Thank you. Are there any other related questions on Quadcom?
Hindi po ba masyadong late yung Monday night na finals or Monday afternoon na finalize tapos Tuesday, Wednesday po morning yung mismong hearing? Kung kunyari nakauwi na po or lipad kumbaga from other provinces yung mga resource persons.
Hindi, kaya nga we made it the point that yesterday masabihan na kagad namin sila, no? Because 2 days prior notice I think is enough time for them to decide on whether to go or not to go. So when we sent the cancellation notice, we knew that they all received it, they acknowledged it, at wala naman nagsabing pupunta sila. So, kasi rather than ituloy natin ng Wednesday ang hearing at hindi pa ready yung aming mga witnesses, no? Sayang ho yung araw. Remember, we're also pressed for time here. Gusto namin that when we present witnesses, we discuss issues, kailangan hindi na po magtagal. Gusto namin matapos agad, nang sa ganun makagawa na ho kami ng aming committee report.
Sir, clarify lang. So, kung may nag-respond po sa inyo yesterday afternoon na nung sinabi niyo yung notice na i-cancel po, and may nagsabi na may a-attend, particularly Digong, itutuloy niyo po ba?
Ay, hindi na. Cancel na namin eh. So, we're not going to adjust our schedule, our scheduled hearing for somebody, no? Yung amin ay we wanted to make sure na ang tatalakayin ng Quadcom, dahil marami po tayong mga kababayan na nanunood, ay hindi po sila they will not feel shortchanged. I don't know how to say that, but hindi po sila magkakaroon ng pakiramdam na parang nabudol sila. Wala akong pambubudol sa Quadcom. Dahil yung amin po, para mailabas yung katotohanan, kailangan pulido ang aming mga testimonya ng aming mga witnesses.
Thank you. Your question is still related to Quadcom? Okay, go ahead.
Sir, so ngayon po kung fact of the matter is that nakakapagtaka para sa inyo na after ng ilan na imbitasyon sa dating Pangulo na handang tanggapin siya ng komite, ngayon kung kailan malino na kanselado sa panig nila, ngayon sila biglang maglalabas ng ugong na a-attend sila, sir?
Yun, nagulat kami, no? The fact that we only found out from the social media na meron palang a-attend at nag-confirm ang ating dating, although hindi po ito galing sa dating Pangulo, ito po ay galing sa mga vloggers. I don't know, sino pa papaniwalaan? Ang alam ko, as far as the records of the Quad Committee is concerned, the counsel, the lawyer representing the former president is Attorney Delgra. In fact, naging issue pa nga yan eh.
Style nila bulok yan.
Meron bang
Pakana
meron bang
nila
engagement, meron bang letter, etc.
Itong mga DDS vloggers
we
nila,
only listen, no? Doon sa formally has entered their appearance before the Quadcom or those that are representing our resource persons and has informed the committee, although has not physically entered this appearance yet, no? Kaya nga, kagaya nga yung kay Attorney Delgra, yun ang iniintay namin. But you know, marami pa hong hearing ito, and we will expect that the former president will still attend, no? Kasi po ito yung request ng ating mga kasamaan sa Quadcom. So hindi ito yung una't huli. Panglimang imbitasyon o mahigit pang-5 imbitasyon na ito na hindi po nakadalo ang ating dating Pangulo. Ngayon na na-cancel, ngayon po mahirap pong dumalo dahil na-cancel. But we only got the confirmation from the social media.
So kung ngayon na may nangyaring ganito, kung sa susunod na pagdinig ay hindi magpakita ang dating Pangulo, how will the committee treat it?
I really don't know. Kasi ngayon, mahaba-haba yung oras na pwedeng mag-decide, no, ang ating dating Pangulo. No, may nakita nga akong na isang post sa social media na sa November 21 daw ay hindi daw pwede. Ano ba yung totoo niyan, di ba? I mean, basta we will send out invitations, the schedule of the Quadcom, based on our rules, based on our collective decision, we will set our hearing. And when we set our hearing, we expect that pursuant to the rules of the Quad Committee, we will send out invitations prior to the scheduled date of the committee hearing para inform po lahat ng aming resource persons na iimbitahan.
Bakit sa social media namin kukunin yung confirmation, di ba? I mean, kami naman, sumusulat naman kami officially. Hindi namin inaano sa social media na, iniimbitahan namin si dating Pangulo, di ba? I mean, it's a personal letter to him, no? Ng Quadcom. So, ine-expect din po namin na yung lawyer niya, tatawagan din kami, sabihin sa amin kung makaka-attend o hindi. In fact, nung nabasa ko yung reason kung bakit hindi makaka-attend ng Pangulo, yung last invitation namin, akala ko talaga hindi na siya mag-attend sapagkat sinabi niya ron sa mga reason niya na hindi siya naniniwala ron sa aming investigasyon. Pangalawa, nasabi niya lahat dapat yan sabihin sa Senado. So, sa akin, I thought na talagang hindi na siya mag-attend because of those reasons.
Thank you. Thank you, Earl. Okay, go ahead, Rosalie Cos from UNTV.
Almost same question with Marian kay Kong Barbers po. Kasi you said contemplating po last week pa kung itutuloy o hindi. And the invitation to former President was sent on November 11. If po na nag-confirm yung camp ni former President Duterte even before kayo mag-decide na i-cancel, you will push for the investigation and you will accommodate him kahit siya lang.
Kung itutuloy namin, No, yung hearing hindi naman para lang kay former president eh.
But yung pong fact na nagbigay sila ng communication that he will attend even before mag-cancel po kayo.
Well, kapag may confirmation ng ganyan, we will have to make do with the witnesses that we have already interviewed. Eh kaso wala naman kami nakuha ang confirmation eh. So we will not, that's why we decided yesterday that we had to cancel it. Kasi kung na-inform kami, maaaring natuloy namin yun. Di baling iilan lang yung aming witnesses para hindi ho tayo umabot ng madaling araw. Kasi I'm sure, abuti na naman ng 2:00 na madaling araw kung sakasakali.
Actually, in addition to that, Chairman Ace and I were talking over the phone kanina, and I told him, pwede nating ituloy na si former president lang yung ating guest, no, resource person. But unfortunately, na-inform na yung mga resource person, like for example, yung mga victims na luluwas na naman dito. Siyempre, yung pamasahe nila, tapos yung accommodation as well. So, kanina, hindi pa naman final yung pag-uusap namin. But of course, after a while, na-confirm ko na hindi na rin natin talaga itutuloy because of the katulad na sinabi ni Chairman Chua, meron din kasi talagang rules na nag-govern sa atin eh. And we will be breaking our own rules at hindi magandang tignan yun. At kaya nga we decided na rin talaga na huwag na ituloy. Kasi nga, ang premise din natin, ako ang premise ko rin naman, they will galvanize the situation that tayo yung umaatras doon sa pagdating niya. But as I've said, meron tayong sinusunod na rules dito, kaya dapat yun po yung sundin natin. At I hope that, ayan na naman, gano'n na naman eh. November 21, meron pa naman November 28, meron pa naman December. So I think we still have a lot of elbow room, no, para pag-usapan at yung i-formalize yung pagdating niya. Wag po tayong biglain, no, at kasi nga hindi naman po isang tao lang nag-iisip dito eh. We have so many members and we have so many chairmen and we have to decide collectively. Ako, sa tingin ko, sinadya yun. Kasi, Sunday pa lang pinag-uusapan na to eh. Kaya nga, yun yung, ano nila, yung style eh, di ba? And to make it appear na tayo yung umaatras sa ganitong klase ng invitation. Whereas we've been inviting him for so many hearings already. If I'm not mistaken, doon pa lang sa committee ng EJK, ng Human Rights, months ago pa yan, in-invite na po ni Chairman Abante, and they declined. And now na nag-hearing na po tayo, na-convene na yung Quadcom, we continually inviting the former president, pero still hindi pa rin po siya uma-attend. And now na nagkaroon po ng ganitong decision ng Quadcom to cancel it, then suddenly saka sila appear. Magmumukha naman po kaming we're not following our own rules. Pangit po sa ating pong mga members.
Style nila.
Dagdagan ko lang, no? Wala kasi namang formal confirmation na pupunta ang ating dating Pangulo. Sabi ko nga kanina, ito ay galing lamang doon sa mga vloggers, no? Na walang ginagawa kundi tirahin si Dan Fernandez. So, again, no? Yung pong next hearing namin November 21, yung gustong magpaimbita, magsabi na ho kayo para mapadala namin kayo ng invitation. No? You can send us through the email. May I get the email number, Comsec? So I can, those who wants to be invited, marami ho mukhang marami nagsasalita sa social media gusto nyo maimbita, pipilitin ho namin na ma-accommodate kayo, no? Hindi ho namin mapapangako, pero yung mga, syempre yung mga hindi po namin ma-accommodate, pwede naman din po kayo pumunta, pero doon ho kayo sa reserved seat intended for guests. Pero as resource persons, meron hong reserved seat yan para sa aming resource persons. So kung gusto nyo maimbita, padala nyo kami ng sulat.
Okay, Vivian Gulia from ABS-CBN2.
Sir, if you would have confirmation lang, si Colonel Garma raw po left the country last November 7th. Hindi na po ba siya kakailanganin tanungin pa ng Quadcom?
No, nandiyan siya nung huling hearing namin eh. Kasama niya yung si dating Colonel Leonardo. He was also there, represented by with his lawyers, no, kasama. So we have no idea kung umalis sa bansa, nasa bansa ba, nakaalis na. I have no information.
Pero hindi na po siya kakailanganin tanungin pa ng Quadcom in the succeeding hearings?
Well, we advised them na kapag kinakailangan sila, ay kailangan na mag-attend sila. So far, kasi nag-move forward na tayo ng topic, no? Napunta na tayo dito sa, tapos na tayo dun sa Barayuga case, no? Somehow, no? Meron yung mga witnesses na hinarap po natin tungkol dyan sa kasong yan, ay nagpagbigay na rin sila ng kanilang salaysay at na-record na po ito ng ating DOJ. In fact, nag-uumpisa na ng PI, no, yung ating DOJ sa kanila, no. I think nakausap na rin sila. So if there are any other witness that will come out, and again, no, perhaps mention the names of these personalities, then we will have to invite them so that bigyan din sila ng pagkakataon na magkaharap sila, yung nag-aakusa at saka yung inaakusahan.
Thank you po.
Thank you.
Here's the the email for those who wants to be invited. Please send your letters to quad.committee@house.gov.ph. So quad.committee@house.gov.ph. Yung gusto pong magpaimbita, sulatan niyo po si Congressman Abante.
Pati yung vloggers, pwede namin imbitahan.
And also, no, just for the information of everybody, kasi naging issue yung cancellation, no, which should not be. No? Kasi yung cancellation, hindi naman to yung una eh. Marami na pong okasyon na, in fact, kung di ako nagkakamali, this is the second time yata na nag-reset kami. If you recall, before we even invited si Colonel Garma and Colonel Leonardo in our last in the hearing, nag-cancel ho kami kasi wala pa ho kaming nakukuhang affidavits. That's why, nag-reset kami. Ito ay pangalawang beses na pong nare-reset. Hindi ho bago ito. At hindi naman po din po bawal ito.
Sana po, no, talagang if ever that they will be attending the next hearing, we hope that they will be sending us confirmation para lahat po may resibo, para at least lahat, di ba? Makita po natin that talagang they enter their participation in the next hearing through a formal letter. Mahirap po kasi talaga
yung mga vloggers, ng mga dilis, imbitahin sa Quadcom. Wala kayo.
Sa dalawang imbitasyon namin kay former President, sumulat sa amin si Atty. Delgra, officially, no? Yung unang sulat niya, hindi siya makakarating because he's not feeling well. Yung pangalawang sulat niya, hindi siya makakarating sapagkat hindi siya naniniwala sa Quadcom. At pangalawa, yung bang nasabi niya na lahat ang gusto niya sabihin sa Senado, yun lang Oo. So, wala kaming natanggap na formal letter from Atty. Delgra na mag-a-attend siya ngayon sa hearing namin. Wala Ang narinig lamang namin, si Atty. Salpanelo ay nagpunta ng social media at sinabi na mag-a-attend. Palagay ko naman, dapat naman na kung talaga gustong mag-attend, ito na yung email address. They should just formally inform us na mag-attend ang former president. And magiging masaya kami tungkol dyan.
Thank you. Gab Lalo from Inquirer Online.
Sir, moving forward, kasi kanina may na-mention, parang clarification lang, sir, na willing kayo makipag-set ng appointment with the camp of the former president para ma-determine kung kailan siya pwede moving forward?
Ang pwede namin gawin is magbigay kami ng mga dates, no? Ahead of time, at least, kagaya ngayon, no? Sinasabi natin na November 21, meron no tayong nakaschedule na Quadcom hearing. And then, siguro, pag-uusapan din namin kung kailan ulit yung susunod so that ahead of time, we will already inform all our resource persons na gustong mag-attend.
Yeah. Kasi if we do that, no, yung gano'n, no, parang other resource persons also might ask for that kind of special treatment, no. And I think tama si Chairman na mag-set na lang po ng availability ng bawat isa para nang sa gano'n ay hindi po kami to be construed as taking special treatment to other resource persons.
Thank you, Gab. If there are no further related questions on Quadcom, we will move to another topic. Okay, Terence Grana from AAP Radio, you're recognized.
Yeah, good morning. Nasabi ni PNP Chief Romel Marbel itong nakaraang mga araw na madami pong pulis ang humaharap sa kasong kriminal at administratibo dahil sa kanilang paggampan ng tungkulin sa drug war ng Duterte administration. Sabi niya, the promised protection daw from PRRD was not realized. Comment.
Marami pong base po sa datos na binigay ni Chief PNP Marbil, marami pong ating membro ng PNP ay nahaharap sa mga kasong administratibo at saka kasong kriminal, no? And nangangailangan po sila ng abogado. In fact, yung iba, no, yung iba ay napipilitan pong mangutang, no, dun sa AppsLay ba yun o yung PSS Lay para lang makapagbayad ng abogado, no, na makakatulong sa kanilang pagharap dito sa korte dahil nga po sila nahaharap sa mga kaso. Ang isa lang ang kanilang sinasabi na nasan po daw yung pangako sa kanila na tutulungan sila, no, sa mga kaso at kung makonvict sila although hindi na mangyayari ngayon yun dahil nga ang pardon ay nagagawa lamang po ng dating ng Pangulo, no? So ngayon medyo nakakaproblema po yung ibang mga membro ng PNP na kung saan ay sa kanilang pagtupad sa kanilang duty to serve the people, sila po ay nakakaharap sa administrative and criminal cases.
Pangako ni Digong yan.
Nasaan ako yan?
Nasaan na? Pangako ni Digong.
Under may committee, no? Actually, tinitingnan ko po na nabigyan ng isang motu proprio investigation on this matter, no? Kasi nga, ang policy po ng former government ay yung pong talagang negation, neutralization. And, sinasabi naman po ng mga chief PNPs na under the nung panahon ni Presidente Digong na hindi actually naitago to itong memorandum circular na to, hindi nalaman ng mga lower ranks So now, nangyari yung mga ganitong mga affected cops, and accordingly, sabi nga ni Chief PNP, maraming mga pulis ang mga na-dismiss, 195 yung na-dismiss, tapos 398 facing dismissal. So, paano yung pamilya nila? Nawalan sila ng jobs, nawala yung kanilang life, yung kanilang dignity as well.
Legacy ni Digong yan.
Following those orders.
Tama.
Now, we wanted to investigate in order to find out what are the necessary things to do, especially dito sa mga pamilyang ito. Kailangan siguro po natin ma-distinguish, no? Yung isang lawful order and unlawful acts na ginawa ng mga pulis. Kasi kung mapapansin nyo, na-dismiss sila mga lower rank sila Hindi nila alam na yun ang ginawa nila is unlawful. Di ba merong pronouncement ng presidente na me alone will be responsible for the effects of the war on drugs. Now, na nangyari sa kanila to, So, sino ang tutulong sa kanila?
Wala.
Diba? So, I think the government should also step in order to find out yung culpability na nila talaga. May intention ba talaga? Or it was really a call of duty? So, kailangan po natin malaman yung mga na-experience nitong mga naapektuhan ng war on drugs.
Dahil kay Digong, naging abusado yung ibang pulis.
Idadagdag, sa Quadcom naman hindi upang parusahan natin ng kapulisan, no? Kundi para tulungan din natin. No? Meron mga kapulisan natin na gustong magsabi ng katotohanan. Pinag-usapan na namin to that we are there to help. We're there to ask the DOJ to perhaps provide a witness protection program on them, no? Palagay ko naman the present crop of the Philippine National Police leadership would provide protection for policemen who are honest enough to tell the truth.
Tama.
Diba? Hindi namin sila pahabayaan. That we could be able to assure them.
Again, this cases is stemming up from their obedience, sa presidential directive dati ni Presidente Digong. So nakakalungkot lang na napabayaan yung mga pulis, Siyempre they are akala nila na they are following direct orders coming from the former president. So sa ngayon napabayaan sila. So nakakalungkot lang dahil yung sinasabi nga ni former president is all rhetoric, nakakalungkot. Sana tulungan nila yung mga pulis na nagkaroon ng kaso dahil sa presidential directive na ito.
Okay, so meron tayong sinulat ko po yung mga pulis na 1,286 yung cops na they either died or wounded, 1,286. Tapos 214 po yung meron pong kinakaharap na administrative and criminal cases. Yung 195 na dismiss na po sila. Yung 398 facing dismissal. Dalawang po yung nakadetain ngayon na 20 ng mga opisyal. So, well, nananawagan din po kami sa inyo kasi nga kayo, biktima rin kayo rito ng war on drugs. So, if ever that you wanted to avail, para madinig po namin kayo, so inimbitahan din po namin kayo na makipag-ugnayan po kayo sa Quadcom. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you. For today's last question, we
Legacy ni Digong
recognize
yan.
Earl Tobias from IBC 13.
Napapahamak yung mga ibang pulis.
Kung Rog, sa akin isa lang naman po yung hearing ngayon tungkol dun sa administrative order na
Well, actually, I recall po na yung Memorandum 2024-046, I think. Naging issue po ito for our sector. Kasi po, although tama naman po na under the law, there should be a transfer po of ownership na i-register na sa ating mga ORCR. Nagka-problema po yung LTO in the way that they issued this new memorandum. Number one, ang very attention-grabbing doon yung penalties, napakataas. Number two, yung stringent requirements. I believe yung office po namin wrote to the LTO sometime in October, third week. And luckily naman po, eventually they suspended it. So in the meantime, status quo pa po tayo. We've had consultative meetings with the LTO, and in fact, today may hearing po ang Committee on Transportation on the matter. So we still have to see anong magiging resulta nun. But in summation po yun, this is just about yung process na for transferring the requirement tapos yung penalties that are attached to it. Yun yung basic So yung sa amin po ang comment doon is that I think it's a little too stringent. Number one, yung pinaka-glaring issue po namin, the penalties are really high. Upon talking with ASEC Mendoza and si Executive Director Pua, ang nabanggit po nila is that they're just merely basing it on some previous laws. Pero if you remember those laws, yung IRs po nila, hindi nga po itinuloy ng past administration. They were claiming that it's the new carnapping law, anti-carnapping law, and then the Anti-Motorcycle Crime Prevention Act. So dun pa lang po nagkaroon kami ng discussion. Most glaring also would be yung requirement that both the seller was given 5-day notice to issue to the LTO, tapos yung buyer naman has to transfer within 20 days. Ano po yung magiging liability kung one follows and the other doesn't? Parang gusto nung gawin is papatungan po ng penalty both. So that's another issue. And ang pinakamahirap, I think, yung practice ng open deed of sale. Ang gusto po ng LTO is gawing retroactive po yung memo. So, paano pong mangyayari nun? Sometimes, ang nangyayari, second, third, fourth hand buyer na po tayo. Di po natin matitrace kung sino first, second, and third. Paano po matatransfer yun? Sometimes, patay na nga po yung previous owner. So, these are the things that were raised. And, credit where credit is due. The LTO naman po and they invited us, they heard us out, and then sabi ko nga po, they suspended implementation. Ang sabi po ni LTO ASEC Mendoza is that they're looking to postpone po implementation since nakita nilang malabo pong that this will be implemented in a fair amount of time. They said possibly, definitely it will not be implemented within this year. They're hoping to really thresh it out by next year or baka nga the year after that. Kasi po, sorry, one more thing to add to that aside from the issues nung the time constraint on the part ng stakeholders is yung readiness rin po ng LTO. One thing that we've consistently raised is that yung LTMS nila hindi pa po ready. Ito po yung LTO portal, yung online. Sabi po nila, in the memo, pwede po mag-submit ng online. Pero kung tingnan po yun, ang ibig sabihin nun lang, i-attach mo yung document sa email, tapos i-email mo pa. Iba po yun dun sa portal. Kung sa portal, mas madali po sana, di ba, parang app lang yun, makikita mo dun, oh, please upload document A, please upload document B. Kapag email, hindi naman po natin, yung everyday citizen po natin, ang everyday mamamayan po natin, hindi naman natin alam kung anong requirements ang i-attach. Tapos i-email pa, baka may typo pa. So we want to make it as easy as possible for our constituents. Napakahirap po yan given the current state. But yun nga po, suspended po siya. But actually, after this press con, sunod po tayo dun sa hearing and we'll find out more po siguro.
Thank you. Before we end our press conference and take our lunch, may we invite our resource honorable speakers to share their short closing remarks. Chairman Barbers.
Sige, salamat sa opportunity sa ating mga kaibigan sa media for this chance to share our opinions on some national issues that needs to be discussed and clarified. Dito sa usapin ng imbitasyon, hindi ho issue yung pag-cancel. Dahil marami pa hong susunod na imbitasyon na aming ipapalabas at mag-iimbita pa ho kami na marami pa hong mga resource persons, including the former president. So, para lang ho klaro sa lahat, na-cancel po yung imbitasyon nung Lunes kahapon ng hapon dahil nga po sa mga rason na aking binanggit kanina. At hanggang ngayon, as I speak, wala pa ho kami nakukuhang confirmation coming from the former president that he is attending if we will push through with the Wednesday committee hearing. So wala ho, social media lamang po. So sana ho, sa susunod na imbitasyon ng Quad Committee ay ma-advise po agad no, kung sino ho yung gusto magpaimbita at sino ho yung dadalo. Nang sa ganun, wala hong confusion na mangyari. No, kami po, ang aming panawagan sa ating mga kababayan, wala hong ibang layunin itong Quadcom, kundi po ilabas lamang ang katotohanan. Wala pa ho kami sinasabing guilty si Juan o guilty si Pedro. Ang amin po ay ilabas ang katotohanan sa pamamagitan ng mga testimonya na manggagaling po sa ating mga witnesses. And of course, documentary evidence, because the Quadcom's obligation is to follow the evidence. Yun lamang po. Thank you.
Chairman Fernandez.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Chairman Abante.
I-share sa ating mga kababayan that again, no, itong Quadcom hearing natin is in aid of legislation. Nakita nyo naman na 3 ng bill ang aming final sa dito sa bills and ibig sabihin lamang yan pinag-aaralan pa ho namin talaga ang iba pang mga bills na dapat naming i-file para yung lahat ng mga inibisigahan natin ay hindi na maaaring maulit pa. Pangalawa, this is not to determine who is guilty. Sinabi na nga ni Chairman Ace Barbers ito, no? This is just to let the people know kung ano talagang katotohanan tungkol dito. And he is not even focusing on the former president. But we are actually focusing on the illegal, immoral thing that is happening to our country. Like the EJK. Napakalaki niyan. Napakalawak niyan. Like the POGO. Like the drugs na napakalawak din po niyan. Yun po yung focus namin. This is not in reality putting personalities to it, but just, abiding with the issues on hand. Kaya nga, ang pakiusap lang namin ay sana po makipag-unay sa amin yung mga abogado ng ating former president kung talagang officially mag-a-attend siya. Hindi lamang namin makikita sa social media na mayroon mag-declare na mag-a-attend po siya. We would like the lawyers of the former president to really communicate with us properly and officially. Kaya maraming salamat po sa inyo sa pagbibigay nyo ng pagkakataon sa amin upang maipaliwanag lahat ng mga bagay na ito. Thank you.
Thank you. Chairman Chua.
Thank you. Ito pong hearing ng Committee on Good Government. Ito po ay about transparency and accountability. At kagaya nga po ng aming binanggit na this is the right opportunity kung talaga naman pong walang kasalanan, wala naman pong nagawang paglabag, kagaya po ng sinasabi po nila, this is the right opportunity para maipaliwanag po yung mga issues na, at para linawin na rin po yung mga issues na nakabitin po dito po sa committee. Ito po ay ginagawa po natin in aid of legislation nang sa ganun po yung mga nakikita po natin ng mga loopholes ng batas ay maitama po natin. Tama. And of course, siyempre yung ating pong, ang Kongreso po ay laging may oversight function. Huwag po natin kakalimutan yan. At siyempre, ito pong pinag-uusapan natin dito ay hindi lamang po natin pera pare-parehas. Ito po ay pera ng taong bayan. So muli po, maraming salamat po.
Chairman Kong Hun.
Maraming salamat po.
Representative Gutierrez.
Nabagit na rin po lahat ng chairman. Sana po mag-participate lang po tayo. We're looking forward to a resource person. Sana mag-attend lang. Yun na po. Thank you to our media friends for the press con. Sana nasagot po namin yung mga katanungan ninyo. Thank you.